In January 2013, a young Canadian student named Elisa Lam checked into a Los Angeles hotel with a troubled past. 3 weeks later, she would be found dead in a place no one could explain, in circumstances that still defy reason. What happened to Elisa inside the walls of the Cecil Hotel has become one of the most chilling and baffling mysteries of our time. It began with a video, grainy surveillance footage from a hotel elevator. In it, Elisa steps inside, presses several buttons, and then behaves in a way that unsettled millions of viewers across the world. She peers out of the elevator as if someone is in the hallway, steps in and out repeatedly, presses herself into the corner, waves her hands in strange motions, and then, suddenly, disappears from view. Days later, guests at the hotel began complaining about low water pressure, strange discoloration, and a foul taste in the tap water. Elisa Lam was a 21-year-old student from Vancouver, Canada, traveling alone through California. She'd made stops in San Diego and was now in Los Angeles for a few days, planning to explore the city before heading to Santa Cruz. She booked a room at the Cecil Hotel, a choice that, in hindsight, would be central to the story. Located in downtown Los Angeles on Main Street, the Cecil had a notorious reputation. Built in the 1920s as a luxury hotel, it had gradually fallen into disrepair, becoming a budget stopover for transients, travelers, and residents of the city's Skid Row. Over the decades, the Cecil had been home to suicides, overdoses, and even serial killers like Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, who lived there during his murder spree in the 1980s. Another serial killer, Jack Unterweger, also stayed there. To many, the building was more than just unlucky. It felt cursed. Elisa initially shared a hostel-style room with other guests, but after complaints about her odd behavior, the hotel moved her into a private room. On January 31, 2013, she was spotted in the hotel's lobby and later recorded by security cameras in the now infamous elevator footage. The video is about 4 minutes long, but feels far longer because of Elisa's behavior. She steps into the elevator, presses multiple floor buttons in quick succession, then leans out and looks both ways down the hall. She steps in and out several times, moving her hands in fluid, almost ritualistic motions. At one point, she presses herself into the corner as if hiding from someone. Then she steps out entirely and disappears from the frame. The elevator doors, which had been oddly delayed in closing, finally shut. When this footage was released by the LAPD in an attempt to find Elisa, it went viral, sparking theories ranging from mental health episodes to demonic possession. After January 31st, Elisa stopped contacting her family, which was unusual. Concerned, her parents reported her missing. Police searched the hotel, including accessible areas of the roof, but found nothing. On February 19th, after 3 weeks without answers, guests began to complain about the water. Maintenance worker Santiago Lopez went to the rooftop to check the water tanks. What he found shocked him. Inside one of the large cylindrical tanks was the decomposing body of Elisa Lam. She was naked, her clothes floating nearby, along with her watch and room key. Getting into the tank wasn't simple. First, you'd need to access the roof through a locked and alarmed door or via the fire escape. Then you'd have to climb a ladder attached to the side of the tank, push open a heavy metal lid, and slip inside. The tanks themselves were more than 8 feet tall. The questions were obvious. If Elisa had been in a state of distress, could she have done this on her own? If she were harmed by someone else, how did they manage it without setting off alarms or being seen? The Los Angeles County coroner ruled the death an accidental drowning, with bipolar disorder listed as a significant factor. The toxicology report showed traces of prescription medication for her condition, but no illegal drugs or alcohol. This meant her erratic behavior in the elevator wasn't caused by intoxication, at least not in the conventional sense. The report also revealed no signs of physical trauma or sexual assault, further muddying the waters of public speculation. To investigators, the evidence suggested she may have been experiencing a severe episode of mental distress, which led her to the rooftop and ultimately into the water tank. But to the public, the story was far from closed. Many questioned how she could bypass the hotel's security measures. Others pointed to the hotel's sinister history as a breeding ground for tragedy and violence, suggesting that something darker was at play. Online forums exploded with theories ranging from foul play to supernatural involvement. Some speculated that Elisa might have been influenced by the ghost of Richard Ramirez or another malevolent presence tied to Cecil's grim past. Others took a more grounded view, arguing that poor hotel security and a lack of mental health intervention created the conditions for tragedy. Even the elevator video became a kind of Rorschach test for viewers. Some saw fear, others playfulness, and others still claimed she was communicating with an unseen entity. Its ambiguity ensured that no single theory would dominate, and every possibility, from the rational to the fantastical, remained in play. Meanwhile, Elisa's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the hotel, claiming that it had failed to take adequate steps to prevent her from accessing dangerous areas like the roof. The suit was eventually dismissed, with the court ruling that the hotel could not have reasonably foreseen the circumstances that led to her death. For her family, the dismissal was yet another painful reminder that closure was out of reach. To this day, the case remains one of the most unsettling mysteries in modern true crime. A story where the official explanation offers no real comfort, and the unanswered questions are as haunting as the fate itself. In the years since Elisa Lam's death, the case has taken on a life of its own, inspiring documentaries, podcasts, and endless threads of online speculation. The Cecil Hotel itself eventually rebranded as the Stay on Main, but its history is impossible to erase. For many, it stands as a symbol, a building that seems to collect tragedy within its walls, a silent witness to the darker side of human nature. Elisa's story became more than a mystery. It became a cautionary tale about mental health, about urban isolation, and about the fine line between fact and the stories we tell ourselves to make sense of the inexplicable. And yet, no matter how many times people revisit the facts, that elevator video still lingers. There's something about those final public moments of Elisa's life, the confusion, the frantic gestures, the disappearing into a hallway that refuses to be neatly filed away. It's as if the video itself is a locked door we can never open, offering only enough to disturb us, but never enough to satisfy our need for answers. Officially, the case is closed, but in the court of public opinion, it remains wide open. Was Elisa Lam the victim of a tragic mental health crisis, compounded by poor safety measures? Or did something or someone else lead her to the roof that night? And if the truth is still out there, will we ever find it? The mysterious death of Elisa Lam is a reminder that some stories will always resist closure. Whether you believe it was a heartbreaking accident, a crime, or something far stranger, one thing is certain: the world will never stop asking questions. And maybe that's why it stays with us, because deep down, we all wonder what really happened in those missing moments between the elevator and the water tank. If you found this case as haunting as we did, don't let the conversation end here. Share your theory in the comments. Was this a tragic accident, or is there more to the story? And if you want more deep dives into the most chilling mysteries, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because next time, we might uncover a case even stranger than this one.